Hello and welcome. We're introducing a very special guest, LaMae Weber, who is the CEO of Dream Warrior Group. This is our first episode of the new podcast that we're going to be doing called The Art Marketers. So LaMae, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, Alex. Thank you. So my name is LaMae Weber, CEO of Dream Warrior Group since 2004. My background is pretty diverse, and I've been one of those fortunate people who always had jobs that I loved. I've worked for nonprofits. I've worked for consulting companies. I've worked for technology companies. I have an MBA that kind of gives me my background for the work I do now, which I love. I was so excited to be a part of Dream Warrior when I joined in 2004 and have been going strong ever since.
Excellent, excellent. That's so exciting. Sounds like you have a lot of experience. So tell me a little bit about what kind of industry the Dream Warrior Group serves.
Well, our primary clients are businesses. We have three general focuses. One is small business owners that might need a website, a boost starting a business, some search engine traffic, e-commerce, things like that. Then we do high-end, complex, specialized development, the stuff that takes 2 years to build and is built for a specific purpose. But the majority of our business comes from the arts community. And that's probably the most fun, at least for me, because it's exciting. I love the arts. We get so much variety, so many cool and great people. So a lot of our business comes from that. Since we got our first arts clients really just as I was joining in 2004. So we have 18 years of experience marketing for the arts, and
Wow.
we love it too.
That's amazing. Gotta love the arts. The arts community is so incredible. Can you tell me a little bit
Mhm.
about how you got involved in building websites for the performing arts industry?
Absolutely. The company Dream Warrior and its predecessor Dream Warrior Design have been around since the 90s when the web was being created and served many people. And in the early 2000s, we got a client that was a theater.
Hmm.
And so we used the CMS that we had been developing that really worked great on the web and applied it to them. And it became really clear really quickly that arts had specific needs and things they needed to do to make their marketing more effective, make their web impact more effective, and honestly make their lives easier. So we started adapting the CMS that we built to be specific to the arts. And that's what became Art Dynamics. And I think one of the things that's particularly cool about it is every feature it has and every update we make, which is happening all the time, is because arts organizations have said, hey, I want that, or wouldn't this be great, or that would make my life easier. And ultimately that's our goal is to serve these people. And an added bonus just for me personally is I get to see a lot of great art.
Oh,
Whether
100%.
it's virtual or if it happens to be somebody here in Los Angeles, to head on over. But we have clients all over the country and some internationally, and I get to see what they're doing and hear about it and talk to folks. So it makes it fun, interesting, and I think we're helping.
That's excellent to hear. Now, for those of you who don't know, CMS is called a content management system, and that is something that you can use to make your website. So, in terms of working as a marketing manager, typically marketers wear a lot of hats. What were some of the struggles you noticed specifically in the arts industry that you were kind of able to help accommodate for?
Well, I think in some ways it depends on the size of the organization,
Hmm.
but I think a lot of times the smaller or medium-sized organizations felt like they had to settle for something that's a little generic or that their sister-in-law will donate to build for them, which is a wonderful thing. We need volunteers, but we also determined that there's some things that we can do, that we can automate and put in our dynamic, will allow them to have a great, highly functioning site that's affordable. And we have options for everyone.
I mean, that's excellent to hear because I know in terms of websites, from other websites I've seen, it's definitely there's a lot of little extra plugins that people have to add on. Commonly, especially in theater, there could be calendars, being able to sell your tickets properly. So, how does your CMS kind of solve those issues? What does it do differently than other CMS platforms?
Well, let's take a look at ticketing, just as an example. Most folks have an outside ticketing vendor to sell their tickets. 99.5, it might be Tessitura, Audience View, Ticketmaster, any of those. And what ends up happening is people do a lot of double work. They enter their events and their shows in the ticketing system, and then they enter it in their marketing website, and then you connect the two. Well, we use an API to integrate with the ticketing systems, all the ticketing systems that have that available. So you only need to enter it once, and we can pull it into the marketing website for you. And then certainly you can enhance it and add more interesting stuff. But just that double entry is a time saver. It's also great if you need to make a change, because you can do it everywhere. Just a short example, if I might. One of our clients had, when we joined with them, had a very nice website, but it was not an automated website. So when they'd have a time change for an event, or maybe the change of an actor, because we need to make sure those credits get in properly,
Hmm.
they would literally have to change it in 4 places. And I just thought, no, this is something we need to fix and we
Yep.
can help you with.
I can imagine that would take a lot of time from them. And
Right.
as somebody who's
Right.
already juggling so many tasks, you kind of need to be able to save that time and allocate it towards the areas that matter.
That's right. And we're human beings. So human beings make mistakes.
Hmm.
So this person who's doing this maybe quickly because they just got the new information might put the time wrong on one of the elements. And then all of a sudden people are showing up for the show a half hour early or a half hour late. And of course that's not good service to their patrons. So
Hmm.
by making it easier for them, it ultimately provides a better web experience for their patrons as well. And we find those little things because people tell us.
Hmm.
They tell us what they want better in our system, or what they've seen, or here's this need. And then we're like, okay, how can we make that easier for you? And how can we make that more effective? Because at the end of the day, you can have a beautiful website, an easy to make website, but if people can't buy tickets or can't find it, that doesn't help anyone.
In a certain sense, you have to have form and function. You have to really have those two get married together. Otherwise, you have a beautiful site, doesn't work, or you have a functional site, but it's hard to navigate, or it creates eye burn. They're not using proper colors or branding, and those definitely affect,
100,
how many ticket sales somebody might have, especially if they're competing against all these other places that are selling events.
100%. And as I know that Alex, but just SEO is a very dynamic process. It's ongoing. If you don't track what Google is doing and what folks are doing, you can quickly fall behind. And
Hmm.
one of the things that's transitioned over the last several years is SEO, and how, for example, Google visits your site is really more based on the coding and the technology involved. So we make sure that when there's an update from Google, that our code reflects that. Because what we want to do is make it easy for Google to get all of the information, because the easier it is for them to get the information in a data format, the higher you're going to rank.
Oh,
You make Google
100%.
happy, you become a site of authority, and lots more traffic.
Oh, this sounds so exciting. Now, I did want to ask a question in terms of who came up with the name Dream Warrior Group, or what inspired that?
Well, I would have to say that it already Dream Warrior Group when I joined it, but the founder of Dream Warrior Group, Ben Amatai, Nami, as we call him, who is our CTO, came up with the name, and it was actually some work he did as part of a volunteer effort way back in the day, and he just liked the name, and we transformed it to be this organization, and we've really taken that. Sometimes we'll say something corny like, we're warriors and we'll fight for you, or we can meet your dreams. We come all with that, but at the end of the day, we like how it sounds. We feel like it reflects us, and as we try to evolve, it evolves with us.
Oh, that's so fun. Now, is your team all based in the US, or how is your team structured?
We are all over the world. Since we have clients all over the world, we work all over the world, and what we try to do is have at least one high level expert in each of the fields we need. For example, design and coding and things like that. So we work at picking the right person. It doesn't really matter to us where they are, as long as they're able to interact with us when we're here. And for example, we have an international team member who's been with us for 13 years. I mean, I almost feel like he's my brother, but it works out fine for us. We do have a home base office, which I'm in right now in Los Angeles. And we have a Wisconsin office, or, people working from Wisconsin and all over.
That's so nice. I think it's so great to see companies really embracing the remote culture, especially with everything that's happened. It's just nice to be able to
Mhm.
see such an inclusive company where you're able to work with people around the world, because you really do find talent in all the different places. Just sticking to one where you're having people come in the office, I don't think is always the best strategy nowadays.
Right. And we used to be like that, and came to the conclusion we didn't need to be. And in fact, we were people liked being able to work from where they're at, so we often were able to find the people that we wanted, rather than somebody who needed to relocate or already exist in Los Angeles. And it's just how we are. So when COVID came, it was a really easy transition for us to go fully remote. And for the most part, we're a fully remote team, but we do meet up here in the office and have big Zoom calls too.
That's super fun. Do you have any fun, little traditions that you have with your team that you guys do?
Well, we do, and I don't. Oh, I should have had one with me, but we do clackers. We celebrate, and I have maracas and a tambourine, and various things, because I think, my role as a CEO is to make sure that part of this is celebrating all the great things we do. So we make a point of calling that out. We have what we call a T3 meeting, which is our Thursday training meeting, and we learn about new technologies and different things, but we also take the time to celebrate our team and our accomplishments, and then of course also things that we need to learn to be current, or just need to do a better job of.
Oh, 100%. And how fitting is it that you work with a lot of performing arts industry and then you use music to celebrate? That
Yeah.
just sounds so fitting. So,
No,
now, what are your hopes for Dream Warrior Group as you expand? And, how do you continuously attract top talent?
that's great. Well, so what we're working on now is, and I've been talking a lot about art dynamics, but we're creating, I guess, what we might call a new fork or a new opportunity. Art dynamics has traditionally had one version, which we call the enterprise version. So we build it, we deploy it on the code, and it's great for our customers. We also now have a subscription-based version, or will within the next month. We're just finishing up our testing, and we'll be launching that version of it soon. And that means that you, as an arts organization, can come in, sign up, pay the monthly subscription, and it's a website builder for you, but it has the arts elements in it.
That's
Um,
so that is so important because I think a lot of people use these one size fits all, and it's really not based in their industry, so it misses a lot of the most important components that make that site functionable.
Absolutely. And so our ongoing, I mean, we already, even though we're just about ready to launch, we probably have a 50-item roadmap of all the new features we want to add and things. And that's going to be about getting feedback from the people who are using it as what do you need? What more do you want? Because once we build something, everybody gets it. That's our, I guess, our crowdsourcing of functionality in this. So that's what we're working on. My dream is eventually we can take this out to other groups as well. You know, certainly maybe other nonprofits, people who sell tickets, we can easily adapt. So that's in my brain. But right now, I just want to focus on making this great for the arts.
That's excellent to hear. Now, we're getting close to signing off, but before we do, if you were to give any advice to any marketing managers, specifically in the arts industry, what would your advice to them be?
Well, uh, there's a couple things. First of all, don't settle. I think, especially with what we have coming out, it is affordable for you to have a great site. And if you want to call us and talk about that, we're certainly happy to do that. And the other thing would be you have to be current and keep an eye on the trends, but look before you leap, because some of them are short-lived and may cost you a lot of money, and some of them are great. And so we try to have a partnership by doing vlogs like this where we'll be able to update people on the trends. But if you want to call and say, is this something I should do, maybe we should test it a little bit, or maybe I already know that 25 other people are doing it with great success and I can share that with you. So you know don't be afraid to try new trends, but don't do it without considering all the impacts either.
Oh, 100%. I definitely think in the art of marketing itself, you want to be open to trying new tactics, but being thoughtful, like doing your research, checking out if this is going to be a strategy you think will work for you. Again, this kind of marrying art and science a little bit. So,
Yes, and if there's something that I could leave folks with is, please, as you're developing your website or as you're adjusting the website, remember who the website is for. And as much as we want our customers to be excited, thrilled with how their website looks, it's more important that your patrons be able to use it and love it and want to come back to it. So keep that in mind.
that's great advice. Well, with that, we're going to be signing off. Thank you so much for joining us on our first episode of Art Marketers. We'll have more to come, so be sure to check out our channel, like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.